Good evening. Good evening. Give me a thumbs up in chat if you can hear me. We'll go ahead and get started once we have a few people rolling in here. It's going to be a pretty brief video I'm going to try and do here. Don't have too much time to cover, but I do want to hop on here. There seems to be quite the confusion that is taking over the page tonight. So I want to hop on here and clarify a few things. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Hello, Karen. All right, so if you guys haven't been following the page, haven't followed the news, we do have a snowstorm on its way, the first significant snowfall. I mean, if you're not, near Grand Rapids where we had a foot of snow back on Halloween, this is going to be the first, I guess you can classify it as snowstorm for most, if not the entire state of Michigan. So there are certain areas in Michigan that are going to see more snow than others. Go ahead and cover those areas really quickly here and also get to some of these questions. So a lot of people first off are saying a few things regarding this whole potential. And that is number one, this isn't going to happen. The ground's too warm. And I'm going to say that's true to some degree, but it'll fall at times where it's going to lake effect snow tends to fall very quickly, so it's not going to really depend on the soil temperatures. We saw that, we already saw accumulating snow back on Halloween, and the ground is even colder now. So, excuse me, it's not going to make much of a difference in terms of accumulation because of ground temperatures or soil temperatures. The second is AccuWeather. For some odd reason, AccuWeather, I've seen a lot of people comment their weather apps or AccuWeather itself. They're saying 12 to 18 inches of snow for most of West Michigan, and that's just completely false. Okay, go ahead and get that out of the way. If you're expecting a foot or more of snow, you're gonna be disappointed, and that's just facts right there. So what we do have going on here, go ahead and look at the model here. We're going to go ahead and check on the HRRR model, a short-term model that can kind of pinpoint where we may have better lake effect accumulation, because models themselves they're not really good at picking up lake effect. They can be sometimes, but most of the time they're not. So the HRRR, a few things here. The first question people are going to ask, when is snow going to start? That question is tonight after midnight. So we're expecting snow to move in and become widespread across West Michigan right around the 3 to 4 a.m. time frame, if not a little bit after that. Just because it has to kind of penetrate the dry air that's already in there. So it may take a few hours to get the snow actually reaching the ground and accumulating. But by tomorrow, when you wake up tomorrow morning, you should start to see your first flakes start to be either accumulating or already starting to accumulate themselves. So another thing people are going to ask is Southeast Michigan. There's some talk about some icing potential going on. I'm going to say I'm not too worried about that, only because most of this in Southeast Michigan falls during the daytime. I'm not expecting much in the way of any ice. I think temperatures are going to be hovering right around freezing, but I don't think it's going to be an icy event for Southeast Michigan. If you go ahead and zoom this forward here, you're going to see the rain snow line starts to creep up into the very far southeast corner here through the Metro Detroit, through the Thumb area, and all the way down toward Lenawee County into Hillsdale County. If that's the case, we're going to probably see a lot less snow total accumulation on the east side of Michigan. We have to cut back on our totals on our map, although we're only forecasting a dusting up to 2 inches. But some of these short-term models are starting to pick up on the fact that there could be a rain mixing in, but I don't think it's going to be a freezing rain type of event. So I'm not too worried about that. It's just going to depend on where that rain snow line sets up. So people are going to start asking, I know, how much are we expecting? And that's going to be comparison to two things. The first is going to be the synoptic, we call synoptic event. The actual system itself comes through and it'll dump right around 1 to 3 inches statewide. And then after that is where we're starting to get the bigger accumulations, because what we call the lake effect machine starts to kick in. Now, once the lake effect machine kicks in, we're going to have northwest winds off of Lake Michigan feeding these snow squalls into the western part of Michigan. So when that happens, we expect it to happen Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. Once that happens, that is when we can start seeing snowfall rapidly accumulate across western Michigan and parts of the UP. You're going to start to see the lake effect start to kick in here. This is Sunday evening here. We're starting to see this northwest flow here, these isobars we call them, start to line up. And right about there, you start seeing these lake effect bands take shape across the lake here. You can kind of make it out here on the radar. I know it's hard to see, but and so those lake effect bands take shape, it's all go time from there into Monday night into the Monday morning time frame, and it lasts pretty much all day Monday. We see these lake effect bands streaming across central and even into parts of eastern Michigan here. So how much are we going to expect? So the eastern part of Michigan, for one, go ahead and flip over to our map here if you missed it. The eastern part of Michigan, we're expecting a dusting to 2 inches, like we just talked about. The further south and east you go, the more potential there is for rain to mix in. So I wouldn't expect much in the way of accumulation on the east side of the state there in gray. So areas like Detroit, areas like Flint, areas like Lansing, I don't expect anything over 2 inches. If you happen to get under a snow band on Monday, you could see an inch or two of quick accumulation, but that chance is quite low at this time. If you are on the west side, we'll say from I-69 over to the west across US 131 through Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids, up toward Ludington, you guys are going to get 2 to 4 all the way up for that blue middle band, all the way up toward Alpena. That is going to see 2 to 4 inches. We're expecting we could see isolated higher amounts depending again on how these localized snow bands can take shape. I know snow or lake effect snow is very difficult to forecast because of the locality of it. So for example, Grand Rapids may get a foot of snow and Kalamazoo may get nothing. That's just the case in lake effect events. But in this case, a general 2 to 4, maybe 5 or 6 inches in some isolated spots are possible in the western side of that blue area in lower Michigan, closer to the Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids area, and then points westward toward Lake Michigan. The bigger story is the lake effect snow up into the Ludington, Cadillac, Traverse City, and Petoskey areas. We're in the purple there, that where we're expecting anywhere 4 to 8 inches of snow, just due to the heavier nature of it and the better synoptics for the lake effect snow kind of sets up there. And the northwest flow is just it's prime for good snowfall rates, ½ inch to an inch per hour rates. So should that occur, we can see quick accumulation across that area. And that's why we have the 6 to 8 up there. And also in the eastern parts of the UP, 6 to 8 inches of snow is also possible given that the lake effect can set up there as well. Western part of the UP, 3 to 6, central part of the UP, 1 to 3. So that is the going forecast here. I know a lot of people are asking about their specific locations. Please utilize the map. If you don't know how to read a map, I would suggest, or if you don't know how to locate yourself on a map, I would highly suggest figuring that out. We can help you if need be. But just usually with these snowfall maps, if you find the closest, biggest city to you. So, for example, if you live in, we'll say, Lowell, which is up by Grand Rapids, you can just use Grand Rapids as a center point to get a general idea. So that's how I definitely would prefer or would suggest you guys do if you don't know exactly where to find yourself on this map. Just find the nearest biggest city to you, and then go from there. So with that being said, I'll look at the comments here and see what we got going on here. Not a lot of comments in chat. Hopefully I covered everything here. Now, again, timing wise, the snowfall is going to start on Sunday, early Sunday morning. Within the next 10 hours, I'd say 10, 12 hours, the first flakes will start flying here. And then it should start to accumulate by daybreak on the western side of Michigan, and that moves through. This is the model here. This is at 1 p.m. tomorrow. You're seeing the east side completely dry, and the west side is draped with snow. That continues, and the lake effect kicks in Sunday night into Monday morning, and that's going to be where the heaviest accumulations are going to occur. So if you guys are out driving, be careful tomorrow. And also in the Monday morning, we see the lake effect band still taking shape here, all the way up in the UP, all the way up in the western UP, all the way across western and central parts of Michigan. So definitely be on alert if you're driving Sunday, tomorrow into the Monday morning, excuse me, afternoon time frames. And I'll go back here to the chat. In terms of accumulation on the models, this is a European model, giving you a good idea here what we could expect. I know it's kind of harder to see on this map. It's a little bit zoomed out here, but this is a general idea here. Same general consensus here. 1 to 2 across the eastern part, up toward the Flint and the Tri-Cities area. And then anywhere from 2 up to 5, 6, 7, 8 inches of snow up here in the purples. So a pretty good general idea. The model seems to be hitting that pretty good here on the Euro. So that's why I'm showing you guys this model. It's a pretty, I think it's a pretty good representation of what we could see happen over the next 48 to 72 hours here. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask them now, and I'll go ahead and address them. There is a gale watch up in the tip of the mitten. I just saw that earlier. So there is a gale watch. That's another thing that can happen as well with this system blowing snow because it's going to be so light. Blowing and drifting snow on the west side of Michigan is definitely a possibility. So expect some drifts in drift prone areas for sure. Yeah, definitely be prepared and definitely stay alert if you're out there driving. These snow squalls are no joke. They can cause whiteout conditions, the pileups. It's a mess when these snow squalls happen. So please, if you're driving tomorrow, please be safe. Can't stress that enough. Traverse City, you are going to be snow, Nathan. Assuming TC is Traverse City, that is the heaviest snow is expected up there. So 6 to 8 is possible. Up to 8 inches, I'd say, is possible. Anywhere from 4 to 8, really. Just because it's lake effect, the nature of this is so sporadic that some areas could see 8 inches and other areas may see only 4. So the general consensus is right around the 6 to 8 range. I don't know the answer to that, Stephanie. I'm not sure what they close for, what they don't close for. I don't. I mean, wind wise, potentially. But other than that, I wouldn't be educated to answer that question. Any other questions, guys? Constantine, you're down here, south of Kalamazoo here, so you're in the 2 to 4. Battle Creek, you're in that edge of the 2 to 4, up to a dusting. So anywhere from 1 to 4 inches is possible for Battle Creek. It's kind of hard to uh, forecast where the snow squalls are going to stop here. So Battle Creek is kind of in that zone where they may not make it to Battle Creek repeatedly. So I'd say anywhere from 1 to 4 inches is possible. Port Huron, you're on the line there of a dusting up to 4 inches. Being that you're closer to the lake, I would expect it to be a little bit less. Um, I'd say probably on up to 2 inches. I'd say for Port Huron, I would go ahead and say is a good bet. Good question, Alec. I can see some schools closing on the west and northern parts of the state for sure, especially if we get the higher end of this. I don't really expect any widespread closings, especially across Grand Rapids or Kalamazoo. But if the isolated, 5, 6 inches of snow falls, um, I could see some delays for Monday at the very least, if not some closings. Southwest, no, Luke. This is going to be mainly a 100% snow event. But go back over here to the radar here. The only rain that I see mixing in is going to be over here on the eastern part of the state here, Lenawee, Monroe, Washtenaw, Wayne, up into Oakland. Um, what county is this? Livingston. I don't even know. It's Oakland, and there's another county up there, all the way up in toward the Port Huron area. So if you're on the west side of Michigan, it's going to be all pretty much snow. I would be shocked to see some rain mixing in there, unless it shifts. But Drew, I would actually side on the um, the fluffier side of this. I think they're not going to be huge flakes, but they're not going to be small either. I think they're going to be kind of middle of the pack there. That'd be a question to ask Alex in the CPN chat if you want to ask Alex that, Drew. I would stay right in the middle. I don't expect huge flakes. Alex is the one who can pinpoint the dendrite growth zones and stuff like that. So that'd be a question to ask our lead forecaster there. Personally, I'm a whiz at forecasting severe weather. When it comes to winter, it's much more difficult. It's just more than looking at a few models. You got temperature profiles, you got wind, you got so many things going into winter forecasting. It's just so difficult. So that'd be any forecasting wise questions should be over to Alex. Yeah, Luke, the east side there, for sure, could possibly see some rain mixing in there. Wouldn't be shocked at all. Although I wouldn't be shocked if it remained all snow. The models just kind of started shifting last minute. So we'll see what happens. It's gonna go either way. This is the fun part about winter forecasting, because if this was a significant event, for example, where this rain snow line was a little bit uncertain, this is the difference could be between 6 to 12 inches of snow. Not this event, but just in general. If this was a bigger system, 6 to 12 inches of snow could be dependent on where that rain snow line or sets up. So Detroit, you may see all rain, or Detroit, you could see 6 to 12 inches of snow. This is what's hard about winter forecasting. The rain snow line is especially difficult to figure out. Tina, expect the first snowflakes in West Michigan, depending on where you're at, tomorrow morning. By the time you wake up, you should see snow falling in Michigan. I see the same question from Joan or Joanne. Uh, by the time you wake up, you should see snow falling a little bit later on the east side, probably closer to the noon time frame. What's your thinking on overperforming? So Austin, I could see it overperforming, but I could also see it underperforming. I can see it going both ways. Lake effect, just in general, lake effect snow is difficult to forecast, so I can go either way with that. The overall synoptic system is not going to overachieve, um, meaning that when the system actually moves through before lake effect kicks in on the backside, I don't think it's going to overachieve. But the lake effect definitely could on the west side. I know AccuWeather is predicting 12 to 18 inches of snow, which I think is nuts, but I don't see that happening. Yeah, Todd, this is a great example here. This is a small scale event for the East Side, but if it was a large scale event and we had 1,000 people watching us right now, the amount of chaos that would, or the amount of question and chaos that would ensue that rain snow line would be insane. It's a difference of two counties in East Michigan getting either rain or snow, and that's pretty common in the wintertime. How much is expected east of Lansing? I'd say anywhere from a dusting up to 2 inches. If you look on the map here, take your comment off the screen here. You can see the dusting to 2 inches. Lansing is right here in the center of this. So dusting to 2 inches for East Lansing. Any other questions? I don't want to be a rolling advertisement here, but if you guys would like to talk to us in a personal chat about snow, we do offer subscriptions. We'll give you localized forecast, stuff like that at your request. So if you guys want that, it is available. But the general map here should be definitely good enough for most everybody. First time on live here in quite some time talking, so a little bit rusty. So I apologize if I'm a little all over the place, but we'll get it smoothed out here as we get deeper in the winter. Drew asks if we're going to be live again before the event. If we go live, it's going to be probably me mid-afternoon tomorrow, potentially probably talking about mainly of how we're looking and the forecast for lake effect, because that'll be about the time lake effect starts to kick in. So I may hop back on here if it's looking like I need to update. So expect, if we're going to go live, expect it to be about maybe between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, no problem. This is one of my passions to educate and inform, so that's why I'm here. I love doing it. Yes, please. If you guys want to know your specific location snowfall, like I said, the map is here for your disposal. We make it for a reason. If you guys don't know how to find yourself on the map, it's pretty easy. Go to Google Maps, hit your find me button, or there sometimes I think it's an arrow on both Android and Apple. It'll take you to your location in Michigan, so that'd be a really good way to find your location. If not, find the biggest city close to you on the map here and use that as a reference. Malcolm County is right around that 2 to 4 range. It's kind of on that 6 to 8 line, so I could see it overachieving, but I don't really expect that. I think Malcolm County is a little bit too far inland from the northwest flow to get the 6 to 8 to come down. But I'm not going to be shocked if we get 5, maybe 6 inches. But I don't, I would definitely hinder or he- hedge my bet on the lower end of that, closer to 2 to 4. What area am I in? Are you asking me? I'm in the gray area. I'm in Lenawee County. Kalamazoo and Calhoun counties are both in the 2 to 4. Calhoun County, though, I would definitely expect less than 2 to 4 just because it's further inland. I think Kalamazoo has a better bet to hit the 2 to 4 range, but Battle Creek maybe a difficult to get up past 2 inches. Yeah, Margie, I'm in the gray back in Lenawee County in the very far southeast corner. Branch County, you guys are going to be in that 2 to 4 to dusting range. You're kind of on that same line of Calhoun County. I would expect it to be closer to 2 inches versus 4, just because you're closer to that line. Now, is this lake effect heavier snow? So I'm not sure exactly what you're asking, Becca, but the first part of Sunday is going to be the actual system, and then Sunday afternoon and evening is going to transition over to lake effect snow, and that's going to be the event. The synoptic snow. Looking back at the radar here, I'll go and show you guys the radar again. The synoptic snow is part of the system itself, which the lake effect is too, but it's kind of separate. We kind of separate the two. So all the snow you see right here, this is Sunday morning, tomorrow morning. All the snow you see right here moving through the state, this is what we call synoptic snow. And then you're going to start to see on the backside here as we get into Sunday afternoon and evening, we're going to get these heavier bands on Lake Michigan. And that's going to be your lake effect. And the northwest flow back here starts kicking in. These lines are also indicative of your wind profile. So it's coming out of the north and northwest right now. And then it shifts over to the northwest. And that's where you start to see these lake effect bands take shape. This is Monday morning here, and all through the day on Monday, this is the lake effect event. So, synoptic snow is all this blue stuff working through the state here, and then behind it, the lake effect comes in, and it's separated. So, it's a combination of both. Yeah, Austin. I AccuWeather has been incredibly horrendous forecasting winter weather in Michigan. Highly suggest not following AccuWeather. They're I cannot fathom 8 to 12 inches for Kalamazoo. If that happens, man, I don't know what I would do. I'd be willing to make a pretty good bet that it's not going to happen. I just don't see it. If any place is going to overachieve, it's going to be up here in Traverse City, Cadillac, Ludington, Petoskey areas, or maybe even Sault Ste. Marie. Up there has better chances of seeing closer to a foot, but I still don't think that's very likely to happen up there either. I think it's going to be mainly a 6 to 8 for the highest totals. Greenville, Michigan, how much? You guys are kind of on that same line there. You're closer to 2 to 4 than 6 to 8, but I could see a potential 5 inch range. But I would definitely expect 2 to 4 for a median. I mean, they're looking at the same data. AccuWeather's looking at the same data that we are. The European, the GFS, the Icon models, the NAM3, HRRR, GEM, RDPS. Like they're looking at the same models that we are. So how they can't pinpoint this, I have no idea. The NWS has come out with even their forecast. It pretty much matches ours. General 2 to 4, West Michigan 6 to 8, up to 8 inches up there in the yellow part or in the pink parts. So like where we're getting 12 inches out of this, no model. I can go through 6, 7, 8 models, and not one of them, not one has more than we'll say 8 inches. You know, I know lake effect can be a little bit hard to predict, but even with this lake effect, it's not going to be a long-term lake effect event. It's going to be a pretty short-term lake effect event. And there's quite a few synoptics also missing from the lake effect. That's not going to, enhance it any to, get these higher snowfall rates. It's just not going to happen. So again, if Kalamazoo sees 8 to 12 inches, I will. I don't know. It's just I don't know. I can't fathom how they forecast that and how they have a fan base or an audience to even trust them with forecasts. AccuWeather says 6 to 12 for Battle Creek. I don't understand why. Battle Creek may not even get to 2 inches. Oh man, you guys get me worked up now. All right. Battle Creek, anywhere from I think the 2 inch range is going to be a good center point. It could be 3, could be 4, or it could be a dusting. I think it's going to be dependent on where those lake effect bands set up. If Battle Creek is further inland, that I don't think it's going to be a significant amount of snow. And then synoptic wise, with the system that moves through before lake effect, I don't see how that's going to dump significant amounts of snow anywhere in Michigan. I just don't see it. So Battle Creek, I would say 2 inches, and give or take 1 or 2 inches on each side. It could be a dusting, it could be 4 inches. It's hard. It's hard to say, but definitely not 6 to 10. If AccuWeather is playing it safe, Austin, they would definitely lower their snow totals. I mean, playing it safe is definitely difficult in forecasting because once you start hyping events up like 8 to 12 inches or even 12 to 18 inches, like that's hyping it up. You're going to lose trust. You can't do that. Yeah, anywhere from 2 to 4 for Battle Creek, but I could also see it being less than that. I got a lot of comments flying in here, guys. I apologize if I missed you. I'm going to try and go back up here. Grayling, you guys are going to be in that 5 to 8 range, or 6 to 8 range. Yeah, Hillsdale on the line there between rain and snow, but a dusting for you guys would definitely be a possibility. Up to 2 inches we have on the map here, and that's if it remains all snow. But right now the models are starting to hint at this rain snow line kind of developing, so it could be cutting in on those snow totals. So we'll see. Yeah, Oakland County, I'd say an inch is a good call for Oakland County. Yeah, I've noticed that last year, Chad, when I was keying in on forecasting. I noticed AccuWeather, not every time, but most of the time they're very very high end of the spectrum there. So, what should we expect in Lower Shiawassee County? Anywhere from 2 inches up to 4. I would say that a dusting is also possible. Again, you guys are all these questions you guys are asking. A lot of these cities you guys ask are right in that line between it could be a dusting or it could be 2, could be 4 inches. So um, it's a wide range. So just gonna say 1 to 4 for you guys. That'd be a good range. Let's see here. Baldwin. So Baldwin is up closer to Cadillac there in the 6 to 8 range. So Baldwin, I'd say you're on the line there between 6 to 8 and 2 to 4. Probably in the middle of the road there, anywhere from 4 to 6 would be a good bet for you guys. Let's see. Westland, Michigan, dusty. Yes, Westland is in that dusting up to 2 inches. But again, Westland is also in that area of the rain snow line could set up. So if it's all rain, don't expect much in the way of accumulation. But if it's all snow, we could see up to 2 inches. Chad, that's going to be, if you look at let's actually look at that. So it's going to be northwest wind. But if you look on the surface here, let's go ahead and click on the surface, wind gusts. We're going to see this, the wind patterns here. You're going to see this lake effect snow. These pinks and purples here, you're going to see these are the winds coming off Lake Michigan, which is going to blow your snow into Monday morning here. So it's going to be west with a little bit northerly direction. So it's going to be out of the northwest to southeast. That's going to bring in those snow squalls further inland as well. So could see a few inches of accumulation across central Michigan, maybe even parts of eastern Michigan on Monday from lake effect. But again, don't hedge your bet on that. You're bummed. South Jackson, nothing. We'll see what happens for Jackson. Again, could be dusting, could be up to 2 inches. But again, this is just the very tip of winter, and we got a long way to go. So we'll get snow eventually. I would say the northwest roads would definitely get drifted in more than the east west for sure. But I could also see some east west roads just because of that slight northern flow. I guess it's more of a southern flow. It's out of the north to the south. Um, I would definitely see some east west roads being impacted, but no, for the majority, it's going to be north south roads. All right, guys, got some slowing down here in the chat. So again, we'll probably hop on here tomorrow sometime, going live again, giving you update if anything needs to be updated. Appreciate you guys. Hit that like button on your way out. And if you guys got questions, feel free to ask in chat. We'll get back to them. At least we'll try to. Got quite a few people asking questions in the group today, so we're not going to get to them all, unfortunately, just because there's thousands of comments. But we'll try to get to them. So appreciate you guys. Thank you.